Yeah, let's get back into the event. Oh, by the way, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do a video tomorrow because I'm going into St. John's to get the stitches removed. But we'll see what happens. It might come out early, who knows? Oh, and like I mentioned last time about the bots, the moment I uploaded that video, there was a fucking bot. Thankfully, I report that shit quickly. But I might always miss one, so if you guys see it, try and report it. It's always the same thing, something .vom or some shit, well, FYI or whatever, and it's like a shady porn site. So I have no idea if to ever report it as spam or porn. I report spam anyway, just in case the link looks similar, but just yada yada yada. You know what to do. But let's get back here. Great job, everyone. That was amazing, especially considering that none of you have ever acted before. Oh, I just remembered something. This is gonna be good. I'm calling someone. Just a moment. Hey, father. So I'm doing a video right now. So if you ever, if you hear me, I want you to record that and send it to me. The voice and everything, you know? Okay, bye. Yeah. So if that goes according to plan, this episode should have an additional thing. Yeah, I just got off the phone with father, and he says that, he didn't hear anything because he had a bunch of guests. So, yeah, that idea's gone out the fucking window. Oh boy, he said he'll tell me next time when there's no guests, so maybe he can get a good recording then, so... God damn it. We'll try it again a different time. Oh boy. Great job, everyone. That was amazing, especially considering none of you ever acted before. Especially you, Tristan. That last line of yours had my heart absolutely pounding. Any lad at the round table could have done the same. Let's just say the performance of that nature are nothing unusual for us. Don't flatter him, Mask. Little strummer boy here was just sounding the first thing that popped into that bird brain of his. Little strummer boy. The hell were you thinking saying one of us is the culprit? Now what are we gonna do if a new character shows up? Alas, he speaks the truth, which makes me sad. I did indeed merely shout the first thing that came to my mind. You never change, do you, Tristan? That was so unhelpful, it almost circled back to being helpful. Yes, by all means, continue to praise me, you motherfucker. That wasn't praise, dumbass! At least you managed to tie everything together. Sorry about that. I just sort of followed my gut without realizing where it was taking me. Not at all. This has given me a clear path to the story's conclusion. All we need to do now is to find this portrait painter and bring them to justice. I'm afraid there is still something lacking. We need to turn up the heat, so to speak. What do you mean? The mystery has been unveiled, and I agree that the story's plot now has a clear direction. But the audience still doesn't know who your characters truly are. Did Lady Murasaki not go over the backgrounds with you? I don't think so. Seriously, I've heard it playing close to chess, but this is just ridiculous. It's a shame you didn't make a chart or such with all the characters' histories. You don't have an audience, Hergy, either, and there haven't been any monologues reinforcing any of the characters and their motivations. If you keep this up, you might as well just be a bunch of marionettes going on with the way the currency strings pull you. You don't mince words, do you? Which is why, for the next scene, we're likely to invent some reason for your character to go off on their own. Oh, I know, maybe something like... I'm not gonna stand around here waiting for the killer to stab me in the back, I'm gonna go back to my room. Would that work? Would it? We got to have a scene like that. Really enjoying this, aren't you, Mash? Well, it would certainly be one of the natural reaction, but regrettably it would also leave a little room for further developments. An extreme fear can either fight nor fly, the coward-like would tremble and terror die. From what I have seen of your performances thus far, none of you are playing characters sufficiently cowardly to take that route. For example, what do you think of your character would do next year, Saliali? Who cares? Why is he on fire again? Ah, what's going on? What am I doing here, Mozart? Ah! What the hell is going on with him? And we're just acting like he just doesn't light himself on fire. What the hell is going on? Right, I don't think I have a very firm grasp on Antonia's character, but I think if I were innocent, I would try to follow the culprit's plot in order to further my own goals. And if I were the culprit, I'm certain I would only pretend to cooperate with everyone else while I plotted my next move. Especially since I still haven't accomplished my goal of murdering Gabriella. Either way, simply hiding in my room would not be an option. What a coincidence, Uncle. I was just thinking the same thing. Please don't ever call me that again when we are filming. You two family now? I beg to differ on... Oh, fuck's sakes. On the stage, or set in this case, there's nothing wrong with staying in the headspace of one's character. So basically method acting, you want us to do Shakespeare. Now I see, even if we don't know who the culprit is, the most natural thing to do here would be try and suss one another out. Fuck's sakes. Da 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 da. There, I got the mandatory Amogus thing out. Are you happy now? And suss one another out without arousing suspicion. Exactly, that's where the push and pull is what gives a good ensemble story its chemistry. This is what people usually mean when they say good characters write themselves. Though of course, if you don't write yourselves here, there will be no story at all, really. Unfortunately, given my amnesia, I don't know if I'm capable of coming up with something clever to say. If the topic were Lady Mash... Oh yes, I could gush about her eyes and hair for days on end, still not run out of things to say. You really aren't her. I'm willing to support that. Eyes, hair, that sounds familiar. I don't know what it sounds familiar to, but something. Yeah, I feel like I heard some really stupid conversation about that once. Is it referring to a different event that I didn't know about? Who knows. At any rate, I encourage you all to continue getting into your characters' heads. For that is the only way to have us left us with which we could probably repair the singularity. There's one thing I do not understand. Why you and I pretend to be lonely hunters? Good question. If you're the kingdom's former prince and I'm your attendant, what if it were because we both wanted criminals with bounties on our heads? That way we'd have to hunt just to survive while we're on the run. Me a fugitive? What an amusing idea! You two might be getting a little too royal. Well, he is literally a pharaoh. He's Ozymandias. What do you expect? A little too proud to hide. So it's Captain Obvious on the first one there. Okay then, what if as the former prince you were secretly going around trying to make your country a better place? They say land outlasts kingdoms, right? Your old nation may be gone, but its people are still living their lives. You could be here trying to ensure that the welfare and I could be your partner. What do you think of that? I hope I didn't offend. Not bad! Traveling through the line land makes it a better place. It's much more amusing idea than being a fugitive. Very well then, let the filming recommence. Come, Garcia. You got it. Damn, another dead end. I was hoping he'd at least have left a note or two lying around. Then again, that was probably too much hope for, seeing as she didn't even have time to write a script. Apparently, she barely had 3 hours to put something together after Roman asked her to help. Even for a rushed production, that's just absurd. I thought I might find you here. Sherlock Holmes? You sure work hard for a guy who didn't so much as set foot in the London singularity. Oh, this is quite elementary to me, Mr. Anderson. Knowing how much you respect Murasaki's wishes, it was hardly to imagine you would try to find a clue as to what they might have been. Well, you're right, Mr. Detective. Unfortunately, I had no luck with that so far. Maybe it doesn't matter anymore now that the actors have taken things into their own hands. But I still want to at least find a hint as to the ending she had in mind. I see. In other words, you can't want to see Mr. Murasaki's first movie go down in flames, as it were. We're trying to secure more resources for Caldea here. Remember, this isn't all fun and games. Listen, Anderson, we know you have requests on Murasaki. Don't try and hide it. Yes, of course, but I respect you still have a hypothesis as to yet you have yet to develop. Fuck. Yes, of course, but I suspect you still have a hypothesis you have yet to divulge, Mr. Anderson. Earlier, you suggested this story might well conclude in a train wreck of sorts. That sounds to me as though you already have an idea as to where it's going. If you don't mind sharing, I will ask of you your opinion as a writer. Regarding what sort of story you think Miss Murasaki was trying to tell.
Damn, I guess I did say that, didn't I? What I meant was, with a cast like that, someone's bound to end up dead by the end. Though whether that will be a comical or tragic death is still sort of up in the air. Alright, if you want to know what I think, I'll tell you. Just keep in mind that this is strictly my personal opinion. Writers are always judging about 10 or 20 ideas in their minds, even if they don't always get around to writing all, even most of them. Well, 10 or 20 might be giving some writers too much credit, but in Murasaki's case, I'm pretty sure she had more than her fair share.
I see. Do you think she used one of those ideas for a movie script?
Given how urgent and unexpected the request was, it would only make sense as he would use the idea she already had been kicking around. But there were also a lot of constraints, a limited pool of actors, a lack of experience in writing screenplays, and very little time to film. I guess half of her premise is something she already had floating about in her mind, and the other half is stuff she had to come up with and make it work. Though I do get the impression that she used up all her energy on the setting and cast. And anyway, I think she knew how she wanted the story to end, but she hadn't figured out how to get there.
It does sound like you already had a solid grasp of what you had in mind.
I have my theories, but they're all just speculation. That's why I was hoping I could at least find some sort of hint.
Then I suggest we try a different approach.
Oh, does that mean you have an idea of your own as to where we can find a clue?
As a matter of fact, I've been thinking about that portrait.
That? I thought it was just a portrait of Moriarty Murasaki that was altered.
Remember how Garcia said he smelled wet paint from it during the last recording? That struck me as the most unusual thing to say before an improvised line.
Wet paint? That's it, it was Hokusai.
Oh. Precisely, Miss Murasaki must have asked Miss Hokusai to paint the portrait for use as a prop.
Then an artist as good as Hokusai will probably be able to throw a painting like that together faster than most people could open an image editor.
I don't think it's Hokusai. It doesn't appear to be in her style, from what we see.
But I guess that was enough to pour the paint to dry before we had to start filming. Wait, you're not suggesting we send Hokusai over there to be this portrait painter, are you?
No, I merely want to talk to her, though of course it may not be more convincing state than Miss Murasaki here, given the hours she keeps.
I've got a bad feeling about this. Alright, let's go to find that filthy huge he calls an outlier.
Man, Toto-san, I never thought I'd get much praise just from painting a picture of a pretty lady and handsome guy. This Chaldea place is pretty nice. There's a lot more of old painting than I realized. Maybe I'll try painting another one like that while I'm at it. Oh, so she did paint it. Okay, so she's using more styles. Ah, crap, I can't. Just standing in front of a canvas is making me dizzy. Maybe I've been working myself a little too hard lately. Say, that's the medicine Murasaki left here. I think she said it'll relieve your exhaustion in a jiffy. Oh, no. Sounds just like what the doctor ordered. Oh, no.
Ah, we're too late.
What are you doing here? Don't tell me you guys want a portrait made out of you to be a parent and child, too.
The only sort of picture I'd ever ask you to paint would be the cover illustration for one of my children's stories. Alright, we don't have time for this crap right now. Hurry up, Holmes.
I assure you I have every intention of doing so. If you don't mind, Miss Hokusai, there is something I wish to ask you about the portrait you painted recently. Oh, that came out looking awfully good, didn't it? Getting to feast on my eyes on a handsome guy and a beautiful lady like that is one of the very best parts of my work. Oh yes, the school is never in question. It's clear for all to see that your work is eminently professional. However, I was curious if Miss Murasaki made any unusual requests from you when she commissioned a piece. For example, were there any parts she asked you to redo? Something she asked me to redo. Now that you mention it, she did say that was my first draft made them look too much like a couple. So I had to fix that aspect up a little. Oh man, I'm getting really sleepy all of a sudden. Of course.
Hey, don't fall asleep yet. We're still talking to you. Damn, I guess that was all we're getting out of her.
Well, there is nothing we can do about it now. Besides, we did learn a few interesting tidbits.
You're really enjoying this, aren't you, Holmes?
Is that how it seems to you? I suppose this particular case does make for a very nice change in pace. After all, once I become involved in the case, it's only a matter of time until it's solved, however inscrutable it may appear at the first blush.
So the fact that you're working on a case that isn't even really a case at that point makes it that much more interesting for you, huh? I guess even detectives have their specialties, but whatever, let's head back to the command room, Holmes. I'm worried about how things are going on in secret. There's no way Servant Home will be able to handle everything on its own. Not with a cast of actors whose heads are so far up their ass they haven't seen the light of daylight in years.
God, I need a drink.
Okay, cleared up the voice there. One more here.
I'm just watching this single, large drop of water, float down inside the bottle. I'm just wondering where it's gonna land. Oh, it's turning left. Oh, there it goes. Never mind. That basically explains me in a nutshell. I've been captivated by the dripping of a drop of water. Anyways, let's get back. What is this place? It smells all mildewy. It looks like an archive. This must be part of Cortez's legacy. What do you mean? As much as those pretending to sainthood in the current government like to think otherwise, fuck. Trying that again. As much as those pretending to sainthood in the current government like to think otherwise, there were a lot of people looting everything they could to get their hands on in chaos 10 years ago. And the worst of all was Cortez, right? Basically, he looted the whole country. Very true, but while the others were all focused on their immediate gratification, Cortez was methodically collecting evidence of the crimes used in the future. That isn't to say he collected everything, of course, but he didn't need to as long as he could make the government officials believe he had all kinds of dirt on those kind of high society. Isn't that right, Roma? I'd rather not get all lurid details here, but yes, you're essentially correct. I doubt he could have become the first president or have his new government cabinet picks be approved as smoothly as they were, without some rather shady dealings behind the scenes. Well, Cortez trusts you, right? Why didn't you stay in the new government and enjoy all the perks? I know all too well how Cortez operated. If I stayed, it would only have been a matter of time before I became trapped in his web. Besides, he never let his guard down around anyone, so he could never tell what he was really thinking. People like that scare me. Saying I resigned paints in a nice light, but really all I did was run away from him. Maybe there's something in this room that can tell us what's going on here, and when I say us, I mean you, because I'm sure as hell not going to read all this crap. I doubt there's anything valuable in this room. See how it wasn't even locked. Doesn't look like there's any secret doors or anything either. Boring. I believe you said your name was Elise, yet if you don't mind me asking, do you really have an older brother? Yeah, I mind. Why the hell would you need to know about my family? I'm sorry, I just forgot I said anything. It's an old habit of mine asking young women a question. I have no idea where you pick up that habit from. It seems a bit weird. Elise is an only child, to my understanding. What's more, he's been performing since before her 10th birthday. Wait, to your understanding? I thought you were her uncle or something. You know what? Never mind. Uncle, you didn't have to tell him that. While we're on the topic, Elise and I are not technically uncle and niece. We're far more distantly related. Oh, okay, that makes sense. When I stopped being the core musician 10 years ago, I knew I would have to fend for myself from then on. So I saw the singing voice like Elise's. He in turn sought music like mine. Is that partnership of ours that helped us get to where we are today? Why don't you tell him our entire life story while you're at it? You know, this guy could very well be our killer. Well, attempted killer. In that case, I think it's only right to tell you a little more about myself. The truth is, I've been trying to track down the Kingdom Nadi Nanha's legendary assassin, a man named Daizo Oka. I remember him. He was feared far and wide despite being no more than a lone soldier. I can still feel the chills that went down my spine whenever I passed him. The sheer bloodlust he radiated was palpable. If he's that strong, he's probably doing fine for himself. I doubt it. He never struck me as cut out for a normal life. Besides, I can't imagine a man who cut down other people for money would have an easy time going back to life in normal society. Unfortunately, I've heard nothing about him the past 10 years. And I have no doubt people would be talking about him if he had done anything noteworthy. People love talking about stuff like that, so there's no stopping it. That's exactly why it's so strange. Can't imagine an assassin of caliber being taken down easily, especially when he had a younger sister to protect. Then we have another mystery on our hands. Where did the fiercest assassin never live disappear to? In that line of work, you know he'd be the first person to cut loose the moment it became inconvenient to keep him around. If his boss decided he didn't want him around anymore, he'd be gone no matter how good he was. Is this...
Find something? This might just be what I've been looking for. I'll study it some more and see what I can find out. Come on, let's head back.
Serbian film, I had a brilliant idea.
Really? What is it?
What if we made Salazar here and his Daiso person one and the same?
But they don't look anything alike. I guess Daiso's face was covered up, so maybe...
Fortunately, we never saw Daiso's face during the prologue. We can make use of that here.
Daiso was the assassin who worked for General Tan, right?
He would never admit defeat, no matter how much things turned against him. What would you do if you were him?
Well, I don't think I'm exactly the sort of person who cut down his forces as easily as breathing, but I have an idea. We could work that amnesia loss into his character and basically be like, oh, afterwards he, I don't know, hit his head somewhere or got into an accident and forgot he was the assassin. Okay. Or maybe it could be like a sleeper agent and then like a certain word or action is done, like it comes out.
Wrong! You were already Daiso. From now on, you will think as he thinks and speak as he speaks.
Spoke like a true pharaoh. Well, I think I might try to kill as many enemies as possible, even if I knew it was ultimately pointless. But there's only so much any one person can do, so I probably suffered a grave injury. And though I managed to survive the attack, I ended up losing my memory. There we are, that's what I was saying. How does that sound?
Very good, your memories may be gone, but your body still remembers his deadly fighting techniques. Thus Miguel will keep you around and turn you into his personal bodyguard.
So I used to be an assassin, yes, I'm starting to believe it. That's right, I was the kingdom of Narinada's greatest assassin. I just noticed now, he has a gun. Of course I would try to assassinate anyone who even vaguely seems like an enemy of the royal family. So I poisoned a wine glass because I guess I just wanted to kill someone. Is that all you think assassins care about? Are you an assassin? I'm sorry, I'm doing my best to come up with a plausible motive as we speak. And anyway, as my assassin, I'm sworn to serve my kingdom to its dying breath. But my efforts backfired and I almost inadvertently killed my master.
Perfect!
Now I have a painful intermittent flashbacks of my failed assassination attempt. So I impulsively think about performing new assassinations in order to escape that pain. Sounds like that ought to work. It feels like everything's starting to come together. So it seems kind of contrived to me, but whatever, I can live with it at this point. Oh, but if we're to go to route, then you'll be playing a pretty bad guy. You're okay with that? I think that even with my memory gone, the battle against the revolutionaries still rages on inside me. So now whenever something happens to stir up in my past impulses, can't help but want to kill anyone I consider a threat to the kingdom. Oh, that way we can have Gabrielle's poisoning be one of your attempts to kill someone.
I see. Then as the last prince of Narinaha, I will take it upon myself to put out my 4 faithful retainers to rest. After a post-pounding fight scene, Meihousou defeats Salazar and prays him for his faithful service as he passes away in his arms. Then after Gabrielle wakes, Vargas will confide his true identity to her and sit back on a trip to make his former nation a better place. And it all makes sense, it's worked nicely. Then it would seem as though we have finally had an outline for the plot. Very well, let's proceed with the story, unless there are any other cast members who wish to object.
I think it sounds very good. Yeah, whatever, don't love it, but I don't have anything better to offer. I guess that means our scene will be the last one then. I don't know if I like this idea of me and the Peril getting up in Salazar.
Ah, yes, a good point. Very well, then perhaps you could think of a way around that.
What if Garcia stayed behind to protect Gabrielle while Vargas and Salazar goes to the storehouse to get some medicine? Then he could have a painful assassin flashback that spurs him to attack Vargas while they're alone.
I see, that could lead very naturally to the dramatic fight scene.
In that case, you probably want something in the storehouse to trigger his memory to make it more convincing. Hardly agreed. I would only be confusing to the audience if he simply had a flashback out of nowhere.
If he lost his memory from a wounded battle, perhaps something that symbolizes wars would suffice.
What about the sound of a cannon? I mean, at least I know Iso and I would instinctually react to that. But why would there be a cannon in the storehouse? Why would he even hear a cannon going off in what's basically a big-ass medicine cabinet? Is little Miss holier than thou around or something? I know she wouldn't think twice about firing a cannon in the storehouse. On second thought, never mind. Having her show up now would only make things even more confusing. Yes, it might even steal your heroin spotlight. Oh my. Exactly, my heroin spot. Shut the hell up! You can choke me all you want, I'll only regenerate. What about this?
One of them accidentally knock over a bottle while they're looking for a medicine. Oh, perhaps it could also be filled with some gunpowder or something? Maybe like a small wooden barrel of gunpowder that when it falls could light some of it up and make a small crackle. The bottle happens to contain some dangerous chemicals, so when it hits the ground it explodes. The explosion sounds just like a cannon shell, which triggers Salazar's flashbacks. Basically what I was thinking about, yeah. I know it's kind of a stretch, but... yeah, no way, that's gonna... I think it's brilliant. Milady with the beautiful bangs. It might be a stretch, but it's also innovative to be sure to clear the audience. I would be glad to handle the bottle dropping as well. In fact, I wouldn't even mind being the bottle. Well, take it down a notch, would ya? Sorry about that. Those eyes I can only catch fleeting glimpses of through a lovely hair so beautiful that just can't help myself. Listen, I know you're into her, but we have a job here and you sound a bit creepy. Is it just me or my eyes and bangs the only thing he seems to care about? Very well then, we shall require the sound of a cannon blast. Find it! Will do, I'll send you the audio data from the library as soon as I track it down. Would you prefer an Orleans cannon sound effect or a North American cannon sound effect? Definitely not an Orleans cannon, that wouldn't do anything good for my mood. Oh yeah. I can play the cannon sound effect what sounds knocks the battle over. We will need a sound effect for the machine gun and missiles now, right? I thought I'd ask. Well, no time like the present, let's just film the scene as soon as everyone's ready. Oh wait, we don't even need a sound file, cause, we're already there, his MP is basically a cannon, we can just fire that off. Okay, we can start the scene in Gabrielle's room. What is this feeling? Does this mean I want to be the lead actor? I get that I want to do this so that everything ties together, but Salazar and Ease are almost nothing alike. This isn't good, I need to be more proactive detective. Ready, and action! Oh, I almost forgot. The doctor said I should get some medicine to give Gabriella. Would you mind showing me where the medicine is kept, Salazar? I would be happy to check the storehouse for myself. No, we should go together, just to be safe. Don't you go anywhere alone. I see, alright if you insist. Don't misunderstand, this isn't because I suspect you. It's simply better for both of us to have witness present. Wait, I just realized, like, the problem with the two-person is that one could be the killer, and, it happened, one could be the killer, and, what was I thinking? One could be the killer, and then kill the other person and just say they were attacked. But say, for example, if instead you got 3 people, then there would always be at least one witness. True, if we go together and anything happens to be one of us, the other will come under suspicion. Besides, Lady Gabrielle's condition should worsen because of my medicine. My position here will become extremely precarious. I apologize for my rudeness. Alright, let's be on our way. Be careful out there, you two. There's no telling what you might run into. Apologize for my rudeness. Gets Callie put sing on this shit. This place is much bigger than it needs to be. That's partly because there's also an emergency shelter here, and one never knows when they might need it. They're prepared for anything here. We just have food and medicine alike in ample supply. I see. So where's the medicine we need? I think it was on the shelf. Oops. There we go. Oh, my head. Salazar, what's wrong? I just remembered. And conclusion. So that's gonna be the 2 for the day, so I'm gonna leave it off here, so be safe there, be good, and see you as always, yeah, bye.